Hi folks, and welcome back to my top 100 games of all time. We are almost at the end of this. We're in the top 20. Let's do this. At number 20 is Stefan Fail back again with Bruges. In Bruges, you are basically playing cards to build a canal, build houses, put people in those houses, and you're basically scoring victory points along the way. Now, one of the cool things about this game is the card in your hand can be played for anything. You can flip it over and make it a house, or you can play it and put it in one of the houses and be a character with a special ability. Or you can cash it in for several different things that are on the side of the card too. A lot of different decisions here, but nothing too heavy and very simple and easy to understand. This game plays rather quickly once you get the rules down. They do have a very, very impossibly hard expansion to find, Cities on the Sven or whatever. That's really nice. I always play with it. But now you don't have to worry about this because it's all getting reprinted by Queen Games. I almost bought the reprint just because it looks so beautiful, but decided not to. But when the reprint comes out, I can't remember, they're calling it something else. Someone will put it in the comments below. But that reprint looks really nice, and you should definitely get it because getting Bruges and the expansion it costs way too much. And I'm glad that this game's getting a reprint because it definitely deserves it. Folks, it's one of my favorite Stefan Fail games. It is so wonderful to play. Like I said, when you're playing that card and you have several different decisions to make, and all of them can be good. There are these tokens that if you get 3 of them, bad things will happen to you. Well, one of the actions on the card is to get rid of one of those tokens, so you don't get a third one, so something bad doesn't happen. But that's the thing. There's so many things you want to do in the game, you just can't do it all. And hey, just like a lot of Stefan Fail games, this one has all those decisions wrapped up in an easy bundle for you to understand and enjoy. That's why Bruges is number 20 on my list. Number 19 is a game that I've had in my collection for a long, long time, almost since the very beginning. It is Splendor. Oh, I love Splendor. I cannot get enough of Splendor. I'm trying to grab a few promo tiles here and there when I get them. I think I basically got everything I'm ever going to find with this game, and I'm fine with that. Splendor, you're basically grabbing gems, then cashing those gems in for mines that are going to help you get bigger cards, that help you get big points in the game. I think the game is 15 points to win, but if you're playing with me and my group, we go to 20 because the game is just so much fun. I know they came out with a Marvel Splendor. It's like Thanos and his gems. That's fun if you like Marvel, I guess. But the base game is so much fun. I even got it blinged out with some actual gems that match the icons shown on the cards, and Fool's Gold, which is really metal gold there. So I should tell you how much I just enjoy this game. I thought this game would get old. For a lot of people, this game's gotten old for them. Not for me. I still love it. I think it's always been in my top 20, and yeah, always been in my top 20 since the game came out. Now the expansions, Cities of Splendor, it's all right. It's all right. It could be better. I kind of wish it was a little bit better. I didn't play it this year, and I could. There's a few things in Cities of Splendor that I do enjoy, but I'm not tired of the base game. So why bring in the expansion that you can't? It's several different modules that you can add in there, which are good. They're all great, but the base game alone is so much fun. I could just play that forever. So believe the hype on Splendor. It's still good, and that's why it's 19 on this list. At number 18 is a game called Coimbra. I have been so impressed with this game. You're selecting these die to get these actions on the board, to get victory points, to go up these tracks. These tracks can give you different things. You can also travel around on another board that gives you victory points too. There are different ways to get victory points in the game. So much going on with Coimbra. Coimbra even has like a mini expansion that I don't think you should buy, but I got, so I go ahead and use it. It's got these like wooden bells on it, and then these halvesy dice that I'm not going to go too much into explaining this game, but halvesy dice give you just more choices, I should just say. And we don't really use the halvesy dice that much, even though it's a good idea. The bells we'll use just because I paid for, I think it's called the rural treatment, and it's not that big of a deal. getting the base game, you'll absolutely love this game. The game is, you're either paying for these cards that you win, either with coin or with guards, and so you're constantly trying to build up both of those levels there. And of course, you're going up a victory track too, and there are ways to score even more victory points the more actions you take. So many choices with this game, and it's still, after I've had it for this is my second year with it or something, it's still not getting old to me. I absolutely adore this game. Coimbra is a fantastic game, which is why it's on my list at number 18. Number 17 is one of my favorite Queen games I have in my collection. It is called Fresco. Fresco, you are painting the ceiling of a chapel, and you are doing that by putting, you have a little player shield, and you're putting your little characters on the board and showing what they're doing. Depending on how early you wake up, you'll get to go first. You may not have happy people, but at least you can get the market will be very expensive, but at least you get first pick of those things. And of course, you're just trying to convert those cubes into paint, and then paint the chapel for victory points. That is the plain Jane version of the game. I have the big box edition with all the expansions, and folks, I have played with all of them, and it was an epic game. Now this year, I only played the game with just like 1 or 2 expansions because I was playing with some new people. I didn't want to overwhelm them, but from here on out, if I can, I'm going to try to play one of those big games where you have so many decisions. Now, you don't have to play with all the expansions, but the expansions are awesome. And Queen Games is coming out with more expansions early next year, I think. I'm part of the Kickstarter, but we're not getting our stuff till like January or February now. That's kind of a bummer because I really wanted to play with those expansions. But next year I will, and you better believe I'm going to play with all those expansions in one sitting too, because I want to see what those new expansions bring to this game. I'm so happy this game is still getting expansions, because to me, it is a just epic game. It's like I said, the big box, all those little expansions that come with it, none of them make the game too hard. In fact, when we played with, I can't remember how many there are, when we played with all the expansions together, it really wasn't that overwhelming for us, but it was just like, our eyes are this big, we're like, wow, there's so many choices here. Oh, you painted on the mural, I didn't get that. Oh, you went to the medicine, I should probably go there. I got some sick people. Oh, you're going there now. Oh, I forgot you could, donate to the bell. Oh, I got to get up on that track. So it's just, and it of course makes the game that much longer because it's taking you longer to paint the chapel ceiling, but at the same time you're scoring so many victory points you don't care. It is kind of point salad now that I think about it, but it is just great. I love Fresco. Fresco has always been in my top 20, I think, ever since I've had the game. It's been in my top 10 a couple of times too, and who knows, maybe this expansion will propel it to the top 10 once again. But for right now, it's on the list at number 17. My buddy Josh is going to love number 16 because he's the one that turned me onto the game, Rajas of the Ganges. Oh, good gravy, do I love this game. This game is where you're going up 2 tracks, the fame track and the money track. And to win, you got to get those 2 tracks to cross each other, and to cross each other the farthest apart. If other people cross the track too, if theirs is farther apart than your 2 score trackers, then they'll win. And there's really not a bad strategy. Now, the strategies a lot of people go for is to get money. Money's kind of easy to get, but that's a harder track to go around. Fame is not as easy to get, but it's a shorter track to go around. I love the balance of these two, and you really do need to go around both and have a good balance of it. Even though I've seen people go heavy on money and win the game too. This game has several little mini expansions that were given to us in goodie boxes. Not 1, but 2, my friend. And I've never combined all the goodie box expansions together, but you can, and it really won't impact the game that much. I played with goodie box 1, all the expansions, and then I played with goodie box 2, which was a surprise to me. I didn't know they were going to make a second goodie box, and all the expansions. I don't know if it's worth like the $20 retail price they're asking for, unless you really love this game, but I really love this game. So I don't mind getting it. It is so interesting. You're chucking dice and using those dice, the pip numbers on those dice, to take certain actions on the game. You're also doing some tile placement on your little personal board to get extra bonuses as well. The game is so smart on so many levels. It looks really busy just looking at the board, but believe me, it is not hard to follow along at all. And every year it stays on my list. It keeps moving up. It keeps moving up. This is its first year. It's been in my top 20 before. And ooh, it is eyeing a top 10 precious spot next year with all these little mini expansions that keep coming out for it. I know they did a roll and write version, but I hate roll and write, so I'm not even going to bother getting that one. But the base game, Rajas of the Ganges, that's really all you need. You don't have to get the goodie box if you don't want them. But just getting the base game, awesome game. Number 16 on my list. At number 15 is the game Orléans. Orléans is a bag builder. I think it may be the original bag building game where you're taking these tokens out of the bag and then placing them in areas to get certain bonuses or points in the game. This is such a fun game. It has always been in my top 10 since I've had it. This is the first year it stepped out of the top 10. I think I know why too, because the only time I really played this game, I played the little stories, Orléans stories, which cost a ton of money, and if you want it, let me know. I'll sell it to you cheap, or maybe I'll trade you for something that's not of equal value. I hated stories. I thought stories was terrible, and I think a lot of people were kind of underwhelmed with it, but still people want it. It's on their want list. I just can't find a good trade for it. But I will eventually get rid of Orléans stories. I'm not anywhere interested in the second stories expansion, I think, that's coming out next year. Orléans on its own is great. I have the Geek Bit upgrades for this game. It's another game that I love and treasure. And I've never played the co-op version, I don't think. Maybe I played it once a long time ago when I got it, but I haven't played the co-op version in a long time. Just the base game is so much fun. Orléans as a bag builder, I don't really need, what I got, Mercado and Orléans, and that's really all I need when it comes to bag builders. Or, no, Groves is also a bag builder too. Maybe I have several other bag builders, but nothing beats Orléans when it comes to bag building. That is an epic game, and it's such an enjoyable game. And even though it didn't make my top 10 this year, it's still great at number 15. At number 14, my buddy Bernardo's going to laugh because he probably knew the game was ranking this high because he's been talking to me a lot this year. Yedo. Yedo is such a great game that I bought it twice this year. I bought the regular edition, and I didn't even know they had a deluxe Kickstarter edition out. Well, then someone offered me to sell me their deluxe copy for base price, and I was like, okay, I'll do that. And now they're reprinting it. You know, so I could have got it anyway, but I'm glad I have it in my collection. I have 2 copies of Yedo now. I'll be giving away or selling the other one or trading it away soon enough. But the base one, but the deluxe edition, so nice, so nice. I've played this game so many times. Basically, you're a family of assassins and you're going on different jobs to get money or victory points or a mix of both. The easy cards are the green cards. Those cards just give you, they're easy missions, they just give you money. Yellow cards give you money and maybe 1 or 2 victory points. Red cards don't give you any money, they just give you straight victory points. Black cards give you great victory points, and those are going to be pretty hard to get. In fact, there's one card, I think it's like kill the Shogun or assassinate the Shogun. If you do that, you will win the game. You will win the game if you can do that. I'll be honest, you'll spend your entire game trying to set up to assassinate the Shogun, and you may not pull it off in time. My nephew got it at the very beginning of the game, and he worked the entire game trying to and I knew what he had because he was slowly trying to build up his board, but we had finished the game before he could make his play. It's really hard to get that game-winning card and fulfill its objectives because there's so many things that have to just go just right for you, and a lot of material, a lot of weapons and equipment that you must have, and you must have basically all of your ninjas. I call them ninjas, or they call them assassins, I think, but you need to have all your ninjas out on the board too. And it's very thematic too because it kind of makes sense, the places it makes you go. This game is awesome on so many levels. Folks, I am not Cult of the New. When I get a new game, I try to be very conservative when I rank it. but I can't help it. Yedo is just a powerful game that's been engaging. It engages all the players. You are constantly looking at what people are doing, constantly trying to subvert everyone else's missions while achieving your own. There's a lot of player interaction too, because you're also trading, actively trading with characters. If you go to the tavern, you can trade basically anything, and that's where deals are made a lot. Oh, such a great game. The deluxe edition comes with like these special assassins that can do special things. I like them. I like it, and I'll play with it, but I can't remember the other one. There's something else that comes with the deluxe edition that we play with, but everyone forgets about. So they may have gone a little bit too over, but that deluxe edition with those metal coins, say no more, man. Say no more. Absolutely gorgeous game. Check it out, Yedo, my number 14. Number 13 is a game that has just risen significantly on my list over the past year, and I'll be honest, it's bucking to get in my top 10 eventually. It's Raiders of the North Sea. I love worker placement, and that's what Raiders of the North Sea is. Basically, every round you are playing a Viking to get the action on that whatever space you played it on, and then removing a Viking and taking that action as well. And if you play this game, you have to have both expansions too. I just bought the player mat that has all 3 boards together. Such a wonderful game. I kind of want the big box to fit everything in there, but at the same time, I really don't need it, and I don't need those special, sleeves for the cards either. But because I really like this game, I may go ahead and get it. I like the metal coins that come with it too. I like all the strategy that comes with it. All the expansions do not make this game any harder. It just makes it more strategic and better to play. It gives you way more options of where to place your Vikings. And of course, you're going on raids. You're sending Vikings to Valhalla and getting points for it too. Everything's just really cool. You're building up your defense and everything there's the Jarl. I can't remember. You're taking on these warriors. You can defeat them and get points, or you can convert them and bring them into your deck because they're very powerful cards. And so many great options in this game. Renegade Games. This is, I think, the first game that put them on the map. And to be honest, in my opinion, it's the best game to come out by Renegade Games. I think this is the highest Renegade game on my list. Raiders of the North Sea. Friggin' fantastic. Number 13 on my list. Number 12 is Voyages of Marco Polo. Dice placement at its finest, folks, as you're moving around the board, moving Marco Polo around the area, exploring different places, setting up trade posts, and getting victory points. That's what the game's all about. The base game has an expansion and some mini expansions that are really fun, and just recently it came out with Marco Polo 2. Now, in my review, you might remember I said that the only difference was the jade in the game, and really that's basically it. I don't think there's that many changes from Marco Polo 1 and 2. Jade is really cool. I love the use of jade, but I don't know if I would play that over Marco Polo 1. I saw someone else's top 100 where they ranked Marco Polo 1 here and then later on Marco Polo 2 here. I was like, those games are way too similar for me to split up, so I'm going to put them both here. Which one would I rather play? I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I may let my gaming group decide going forward because the base game is just good enough for me with the expansion. However, Jade, which gives you bonus actions, or you can get bonus actions if you pay Jade. That's nice too. I actually like that too. So either, you don't need both. If you were to get one, probably get Marco Polo 2. And if you have Marco Polo 1, oh man, it's your call whether you want to or not. But for me, I have them both in my collection for right now, and as long as they both get played, they're going to stay in my collection. So Voyages of Marco Polo, parts 1 and 2, are both number 12 on my list. And finally, what game just missed out on the top 10? Well, it's a game that's always been in my top 10. It just missed out this year. It's Grand Austria Hotel. Love Grand Austria Hotel. Again, dice selection, you're taking actions depending on what dice, pip die you took, and the actions can be booking rooms, getting, hiring management, or, getting extra money, getting extra sweets or coffees or wines to serve your guests before they retire to their rooms. So many options in this game. It is so much fun running your own hotel, and it's getting expansion. Let's Waltz, I think is what it's called, where they can go to the dance floor. I have no idea how this is going to work. I went ahead and backed on Kickstarter without even reading. I was like, whoa, expansion to Grand Austria Hotel, sold. And they're going to come out with some deluxe bits too, which, ooh, I've been wanting to deluxify this game for years. For years I've been looking at deluxe pieces for this, and now I don't have to. Now they have that Kickstarter out. So when that Kickstarter comes out to me in late 2021, I'm sure, I cannot wait to see what they've changed with it. It may catapult this game back into my top 10, because right now it fell just outside, but it is a great game. Love Grand Austria Hotel. All right, folks, that is all for now, but you know what? Come back for one final video as I give you my top 10 games of all time. See you then.